Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today in this video I'm going to check a new charger from Hobbymate, the D6 Duo Pro. This charger packs some really nice features and today in this video I'm going to go over them and find out if this is going to be my new favorite charger and is going to take the place of the ISDT D2. The D6 Duo Pro comes inside this pretty compact package. Inside we can find this sheet with specifications, an AC cable. It doesn't come with any adapters, so if you live outside of the US you will have to provide your own one, and on the bottom of the package we can find the charger. Just like its packaging, the charger itself is pretty compact. It weighs about 580 grams, so it's just a little bit heavier than the ISDT D2 that weighs 556.3 grams. And as you can see, they are pretty similar in size. Just like the D2, on the front of the D6 Duo Pro we can find two XT60 female connectors and next to them balance ports that supports up to 6S Lipo batteries. Navigating through the menus is done using this clickable rotatable dial, and selecting the channel is done using a single button as opposed to the D2 which is using two separate buttons. On the side we can find a USB port that supports up to 2.1 amperes. And next to it, a micro USB port which is used to upgrade the firmware, and it's great that they're using this simple port. For example, the ISDT D2 is using this 3.5mm jack that will require you to buy the SC linker separately if you want to upgrade its firmware. Powering the D6 Duo Pro can be done through this AC connector. It supports between 100 to 240 volts, which means you're going to be able to use it all around the world. When it's powered through the AC connector, the maximum charging rate is 200 watts, just like the ISDT D2. However, the maximum current per channel is 15 amperes, whereas on the D2 it's 12 amperes. So what makes the D6 Duo Pro so special? When I reviewed the ISDT D2, I mentioned that one of the things that it's missing is the option to connect it to an external Lipo battery and charge your batteries on the go, and the D6 Duo Pro got it. So on the back, the port that I was hiding is the XT60 connector. It will enable you to power it on the go with batteries between 6.5 to 30 volts, and this is a great feature. So you can just take a bigger Lipo battery with you and charge smaller batteries on the go, so you don't have to buy a charger for home and also a field charger. This thing will get you covered. Another nice feature that the D6 Duo Pro has is the ability to charge your devices wirelessly. So if you have a device that supports wireless charging, all you have to do is just power on the charger and you have to place the device on top, and I'm going to show you how it works later in this video. So now let's power on the charger. First of all, you can see that the screen is pretty big and it's a little bit bigger than the screen of the ISDT D2. Navigating through the options is done using this dial. So first of all, you need to select a channel. Pressing it first is going to take you to channel 1. After pressing it again, it's going to take you to channel 2. Pressing it for the third time is going to take you to this status screen, and you're going to see the status of each channel. Long pressing the rotating dial is going to take you to the settings menu. So we can see over here the charger settings. We can navigate through the options by rotating the dial to the right or to the left. And if you want to select an option, you have to press it. And if you want to go back, you will have to press the channel button. So let's start with the task parameters. We can set the safety timer, which means the charger is going to stop charging after this amount of time. I think that 2400 minutes it's a little bit too long, so let's set it to 120. So as you can see, it can be set between 3 minutes to 2400 minutes. You can also set the maximum capacity of the battery. Let's set it to 2 amperes. You can set the end current, which means if you're going to charge a battery with 2 amperes, the end current is going to be 0.2 amperes, which is fine. You can also set trickle charge, which I'm going to set to off. Trickle charge is not used for Lipo batteries, and if you want you can just Google it up and read more about it. Then we can move on to the system parameters. We can set the language between English and Chinese. You can set the maximum input power between 700 watts all the way down to 50 watts. I'm going to leave it on 700. The minimum input voltage can be set between 6.5 all the way up to 27 volts. If you're normally using a 4S battery, I recommend to set the minimum input voltage to 14 volts. This will prevent you from over depleting your battery. Next, you can set the backlight between high, middle and low. You can see that low is barely readable. Middle is just about readable, but I think that for indoor usage it's best to set it to high. Next we can turn on and off the wireless charging. So if you're not using this feature, just leave it off. I'm going to leave it on because I'm going to show you how it works in a moment. The volume can be set between low, middle, high, or you can just turn it off. The completion tone can be set to repeat or single, which means when a battery will finish charging, it will either prompt you once or will continue to prompt you until you're going to disconnect the battery. I think it's best practice to leave it on repeat, so it's going to bug you and you're going to come to the charger and disconnect the battery. And it's very important to mention that never charge a battery when the charger is unattended. Things can go wrong, so never leave your house when a charger is charging a battery and stay within a couple of meters reach. So if anything goes wrong, you can take care of the situation. Finally, on the system settings, we can change the device name. You have a total of 8 characters, so I'm going to set it to Kremer. And now saving this option is not done by pressing the channel, so after this long work, if you want to save it, all you have to do is long press this dial and now the name is going to be saved. So you can see now the device name is Kremer. Going back, we can move to the channel 1 calibration. You have to connect a battery in order to calibrate it. Same goes for the channel 2. You can perform another self-checking for the system. You can see it passed without any errors. We can also restore to factory settings. So if you press it, it's going to ask you if you want to restore to factory settings or not. I'm going to choose no. And finally, we can find the system information. So we can see the firmware that we're running, and you can also see the serial number of your device. So now I'm going to show you how the charging procedure works. I'm going to connect this 4S battery to channel 2. Then we need to select the channel. So you can see now it's on channel 1 and now it's set to channel 2. Over here we can see the current voltage of the battery, the timer, and the state of each cell. It's accurate until the 3rd digit, which is pretty impressive. Rotating the dial to the right is going to get you to this screen where you can see the current voltage of the external battery, the temperature of the charger, the total milliwatt that were charged to the battery, and the total number of batteries that completed a charging cycle. You can see I already used this charger with 4 Lipo batteries. Starting the charging procedure is done by short pressing the rotating dial. First, you will need to select the channel. So the battery is connected to channel 2. So now channel 2 is selected. Pressing it will enable you to select the task. You can set it to charge, discharge, discharge external, which means it's going to discharge the external battery. And this option is only going to be selectable if you're going to use the DC connector. If you're going to power up the charger using the AC connector, it just won't let you choose it. We can also enter storage mode, and you can also balance the battery. After selecting the task, you can set the battery type. You can see that you have many options, and this charger will pretty much get you covered. Then you can select the end voltage per cell. On a normal Lipo battery, it's going to be 420, but you can set it between 4 all the way up to 4.25. If the balance port is going to be connected, it's going to auto-detect the cell count, but if you are going to charge a battery without it, you can set it manually between 1S all the way up to 6S. And finally, we can set the current setting between 0.1 amperes all the way to 15 amperes. Just as a reminder, it's recommended to charge the batteries on 1C, which means this battery is 1300 mAh, so it's recommended to charge it with 1.3 amperes in order to extend the life of the battery. Then you can select Start Task in order to start the charging procedure. On the top right, we can see the current progress of the charging procedure. You can see that now it's 58%. And if you scroll to the right, you can see the resistance of each cell. Pressing this dial while a battery is charged will enable you to set the current, so you can adjust it to whatever you want. And in addition, it will also enable you to stop the charging procedure. You can also do it by long pressing this dial, and you can see that now it stopped charging the battery. If you're charging 2 batteries simultaneously, if you're going to be on the split screen and you're going to long press this button, it's going to end the charging procedure of both batteries. The next thing I'm going to do before wrapping it up is to measure the output current of the USB port. So I've got this USB meter connected to my charger, and you can see that the output current is 0.884 amperes. And on the ISDT D2, it's about 0.78 amperes. So even though on the D2 it states 2 amperes and on the D6 Duo Pro it states 2.1 amperes, the result is pretty similar and closer to 1 ampere. So finally, let's test the wireless charging. All you have to do is just use a compatible device. My Samsung S8 Plus supports this feature, and you have to make sure that wireless charging is enabled on the settings. And after placing it on top, you can see that now the phone is going to be charged. It's not going to be as fast as using a regular USB charger, and I'm not really sure how usable this feature is going to be for you, but still they chose to include it, and I do think it's a nice thing to have. So overall, I think that the D6 Duo Pro offers really good features, and this is my new favorite charger. I'm not going to throw away my ISDT D2, and I'm still going to use it in conjunction, so it will enable me to charge 4 batteries simultaneously, which is great. But if you're debating where to get the D6 Duo Pro or the D2, I would definitely go with this one, even though it's a little bit more expensive. And I'm actually going to include a coupon that is going to reduce the price by 20%. So instead of $150, the price is going to be $120, which is about the same price, or actually even a little bit cheaper than the D2. So I think it's a great deal, and if you're in the market for a good charger, you should definitely check it out. The only thing that I'm missing on this charger, and it's actually missing on the D2 as well, is a power switch. I think that integrating a power switch for both AC in and DC in could have been great, and it will enable you to power it off in case of an emergency. And also I think it's more convenient to use a switch instead of just plugging the battery or the AC in order to power it up. Now, because I have a couple of giveaways going on, I'm not going to announce a new giveaway today, and I'm going to announce the winners of the previous giveaways in the next few days. But I have a nice surprise for you. I've partnered up with Hobbymate to throw probably one of the biggest giveaways that I've had on my channel, and I'm going to reveal the details about it on one of my next videos, so stay tuned. As always, I thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it and you find it useful. If you have any questions about this charger, feel free to ask it in the comment section down below. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you like this video, and consider subscribing to my channel and hit the notification bell if you're not already subscribed. See you in my next videos, and goodbye.